So in part 3 of this video series, I showed how to cut the deck and put it down. Now I'm going to start puttying and fiberglassing the deck board in place. I used two tools. The one on the left is for using the round part of it, making the curve so the glass will lay flat. And the tool on the right is just a spatula that I use to remove excess putty from after I make my curve. So once I got some putty mixed up, I started pushing it in with a spatula into the crack between the deck board and the side of the boat. Built it up a bit, and then I came back with the curve tool and made the curved indentation in the putty, so when I put the glass down it will lay down, because you can't make a 90-degree turn. It has to be a gradual turn, and that's what that gives you. Once I puttied in both sides of the deck board, I puttied in the front of it. Then I started puttying in the back of the deck board, making sure I shove it up underneath there as much as I could. So it's kind of hard cutting those boards for the front of the bench and the back of the bench. And what I did was I took a piece of cardboard and an X-Acto knife, and I just traced along the bottom, and then I took my cardboard template and put it on an old piece of gypsum board that I had, and I traced that onto the gypsum board and cut it with my jigsaw. And then I could take the gypsum board and do a test fit before I cut my actual wood. So I took the front board after I cut it and put it in place, and there was a little space, but that's okay. We're going to fill that in with putty. I made sure the boat was level, and then I made sure that board was level. Then I put in the back board for the bench. Once I had it cut, made sure it was level. I knew the boat was level, and then I made sure it was level from the front board to the back board, and it should be pretty even when I stick a piece of bench top on there. So when I got ready to put the back board for the bench in, I made sure there was plenty of putty in there on the front side of the deck board. I also put putty on the back board, so when I pushed it down in place, it would have a nice coating of putty in between the board and the deck board. So I made me a little table in the back, put all my stuff up there, so everything's handy, so I can mix and go. Cut my fiberglass, get it laid in there, and just go at it. I use the fibered putty to putty in and strengthen this board. You beat on that with your hand, with your fist, and it is absolutely solid. That putty is really something. I mean, it is really strong. And then I put a coat of resin on top of that. I'm not worried about glassing that in. These boards right here, I'm not worried about glassing these. Just gonna leave it as it is. It's got a coat of resin on it, plus the putty has got it really solid. I tried to pry one off, you can forget about it. It ain't coming up. Even before I put the front and back board in, these two boards. But this is absolutely solid. Now, I only have one sheet of fiberglass on this yet, and up here I puttied that in where the old fiberglass came up. I just leveled it. It's nice and even, and then when I put the glass on, I brought it all the way down to the hull and ran it, just cut it along the hull there, so it's all the way down to the hull. And this, man, I tell you what, that is nice and solid, and this one is even more solid. But I'm going to put one more sheet of glass on this one here in the front. The back I puttied even with The rest of the boat down here, it would have been straight. From here up would have been straight, angle 90. So I just took a putty knife, angled it, and just filled that in. That way I can run cloth on that area right across the back there. So at this point, everything but the front of the front bench board has 2 layers of 18-pound fiberglass, and they sent me 8-inch fiberglass instead of 4. So instead of 2 inches up the side and onto the deck board, I was able to do 4. So that was nice. The bench is solid. The front of the bench only has 1 layer of fiberglass on it. It needs to be sanded, and then another layer of fiberglass added to it, and then I'll cut pyramids for the corners where that meets the side of the boat, just like I did the backboard of the bench. And then I'll put another coat of resin on it, and I haven't even touched the roller. I've been brushing everything, and it's working out fine. I'm able to push the resin into the fiberglass, and it's really knocking all the bubbles out except for where it laid over on the side. You can see some bubbles on the top, but I'm going to be sanding that anyway, and I can always fill those little divots with putty if I need to. Still need to put a coat of a layer of glass on the back, and that's pretty much it before gel coating. Everything's working out great. The products are great. It's just easy and it works. Be using an orbital sander, 6-inch, and I can't be happier with everything. It's just turning out awesome.